Okay, hi. I'm glad to be with you. Today, we're talking about honesty in relationship and when honesty is beneficial and makes for a great relationship, and when honesty can really hurt the relationship and sometimes it can actually destroy a relationship. So we're going to talk about the difference and how to do it in the good way for our relationship. And here we are with you today. My partner, Opher and myself, Ayelet and Opher. So let's start.
Great. So thank you, Ayelet, for having us, and for hosting this important voice podcast. So we all get it that honesty is key in any relationship, right? But let's dig deeper. Can being like an open book actually do more harm than good in our relationships?
Okay. So that's a good question. And I guess many of the individuals who are here with us can have experienced it and probably themselves have an idea or even really know that honesty is not, well, it is always the best policy, I would say, but we have to know how to do it, because honesty and truthfulness is like a two-way sword. As I said in the beginning, it can sometimes really hurt the relationship. It can hurt the other person, but really, and we will talk about it more, sometimes it doesn't even represent what we mean. And maybe that's the most important thing. Sometimes we want to be honest, we want to say what we feel, but it's not really who we want to be in the relationship. It's not really in tune with who we are. And it hurts us, the other partner, and sometimes the whole relationship. On the other hand, it's true. And you can relate to that, I guess, Opher, that the honesty and truthfulness is not just the best policy, it's the ground of the relationship. It's the most basic components of a relationship. We cannot have intimacy, real intimacy, if we're not truthful. Can you see that? It does not exist. We can say we have intimacy, but is it really?
That's a bit mind-blowing what you say, because obviously we cannot have intimacy, I can see that, without honesty, because as I see intimacy, it is in the most simple ways the ability to bring myself to a relationship. So if I'm not being honest, then I'm not bringing myself, and then I cannot be intimate. That's how I see it. But going back to what you just said before and combining it with that, it seems that there is a need for a deeper understanding, because what I take from you, and this is my interpretation, and this, as always with us, correct me, or what you say is that, in my simple words, is a lot of time I want to bring myself as I am, but unconsciously I'm not being true to myself. So I bring something that is not the truth while I think it's the truth. It's like, I remember very early in our relationship where I would complain to you, about something, and you would show me that I'm taking a very, very small piece of the entire fabric that's our relationship and focusing on that. And while this might be true, it's not the whole truth. So it portrays you in that sense, because I'm complaining about you, in a light that is not truthful to the entire who you are and who we are. So in that sense, I'm bringing myself, being honest, and you know what, just basically
Putting it out there.
Putting it out there, dumping my whatever on you. But I think I'm being so honest, while this is not the truth. This is not the whole truth about who you are, who I am, who we are as a couple, and creating a very difficult and place in our relationship that is actually not truthful. So yes. Is this what you mean? Did I?
Yes, actually, it's what I mean. I'll try to elaborate on this. Well, as I see it, honesty or truthful honesty is made of something like 5 components. And it's kind of, we can imagine it like a ladder that we, in order to reach the full honesty, not the partial honesty, we kind of climb the steps of the ladder. And the first step is what I think many people understand and talk about today, what was not understood before, is self-awareness, is the first ability to even be aware and admit to our feelings and thoughts, hurtful, mostly hurtful. And it's really important because, of course, if we're in a relationship with an individual who is blocked to his inner world and feelings and thought, then it's not honest. He may be polite to us, he may be respectful, but we feel that it's not intimate, it's not truthful, because the person is not intimate with himself. We have to, all communication between two people, actually, we can see first in the relationship with ourselves. So, of course, the first step of the ladder is self-awareness to our inner world. Okay, and many people have to develop that. It's not natural, and of course, it's important. But then, if we've kind of got that, okay, we're in tune to that, then it's just the first step to the concept of being honest in a relationship.
Just a second, I really want to write this down.
Okay.
Really interesting. Just let me pull my notes real quick.
Okay.
It's fascinating. All right. So when you talk about honesty, you actually talk about five steps.
Yeah.
And
like a ladder.
The first is like self-awareness.
Yes. I'm thinking of calling it truthful honesty, because I kind of, but
like the whole subject or just this one?
The concept of honesty in a relationship is, but we can think about the concept, maybe truthful honesty, because we'll see. We'll decide about it.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I can see that. All right. So okay. Second.
So self-awareness now. The second step or element would be being truthful to ourselves. So we have to first to look inside and see what we feel and think, but also be truthful to what we believe, what our core values are, what we know to be true, specifically in the relationship. and to kind of, this is the part where we differentiate between, let's say, we can call it the defensive mind, the mind which is the fight or flight, or what other name? I missed the name. Okay, this could be the mind. Okay, the part of our mind that puts out all the feelings of defensiveness, of anger, of hurt. And then we need to look inside in order to be truthful and check between ourselves if this is true. If what actually happened, what is happening, and what is, how to put all this in something, in a way, first between me and me, that is cohesive or comprehensive, and like in the totality of that, it fits what I want to have in the relationship, what but before that, what I believe, my values. Like sometimes I could be annoyed at something, but then I look inside and say, oh, it's because I'm stressed of something else. This thing is actually okay. I'm just stressed. Or I'm annoyed at something or angry at something that is actually okay. I want it to happen. It's a good thing. It's according to my
values.
My values. So although I'm annoyed, and then I know that it's not connected to honesty. So it's like, it's honest to say, okay, this is something that I need to work out within myself. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, I can talk about it with my partner, but not necessarily with him, because it's something that's connected to me, not to him. Okay, maybe we can say that this part is also seeing what's connected to me and what's connected to my partner, if it's congruent with my values or not. And then I have clarity about that. Okay, I need to have clarity, because in the first stage, I'm just being aware of my feelings that are defensive and just putting it out there. If I don't go to I can just be really angry just because I was angry. So it's good to know I'm angry, but it's not okay to put it out there before I checked in with my values and what I see to be true.
I get you. Actually, I feel that just this step can be a subject of like 10 episodes. But my other half of the mind is really curious about the next 3 steps. It's like my OCD is like, okay, what's the so but do you want me to say what I got from it now or later or before?
Like, maybe say now what you got from it. Yeah. Okay,
so self-awareness, it's how I saw it. Like the first stage is about just being aware to what I feel right now, what I think, what I feel, which is a lot for many people. I don't know, between yourself and I, probably we practice meditation for like, I don't know, 40 years. That's 35 you and 5 me.
Yes.
But so being aware to like mindful of ourselves is a big step, but it's just the first one. And then you say, it's like, okay, so now I need to also be truthful to myself. It's like, okay, so I feel mad, but why am I feeling mad? Am I feeling mad because you did something that really annoys me? Or do I feel mad because what you bring now makes me confront something that is really hard for me? But confronting it is actually aligned with my core values of truthful, of growth, of whatever, or of just, you know, my values of sharing or reuniting two families is so important for me, because this is our second relationship or chapter B or whatever. And but it's hard. It brings a lot of hardship. And actually what you bring now is just part of this hardship, and it's not your fault. It's just like, in a very simple way, don't kill the messenger.
Yes, it's true. I just have this really simple example that connects. It's like, I want to share a house and a life with you. And
you can stop there.
Yes. And some of I know the word I missed was survival mind. So sometimes a lot of my feelings, like my angry or annoyed feelings, are just because I want everything to be exactly as I want it to be. Like, also I lived some years by myself, and it's so enjoyable that everything is exactly as I want it at every single second. Everything is just me, according to what, and sometimes little things that are just not exactly how I want them to be at this moment annoy me or anger me. So in the first stage, just awareness, I could just be angry or annoyed. But the second stage is like, being true to myself. I say, okay, you want to share a house with someone. It cannot physically, in reality, also exist with having everything the way you want it. So either you want to live alone and have it everything, or you have to, I don't know if it's okay to say it, suck it up, and just understand that this is not connected to the relationship. There is no point to being honest about it unless it's like in a talk about it. But it's not honest to be angry at you or annoyed just because I have an annoyed feeling about it. It's just dumping irrelevant feelings. What?
That's fascinating. Now I'm really curious about the next three. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So what's next?
So the next actually is a very good one that people are not, a lot of people don't like. It's, I think, probably the most challenging. It's truthfulness. I would call it truthfulness, but maybe another word, to my partner. As I chose my partner, and as long as I continue to choose him, I think this, and it takes out all the options of unacceptable behavior or finding yourself with a partner that you should not be with because of unacceptable behavior. I'm not going into it. We're talking here with the assumption that you are with a partner who is worthy, who is respectful and acting as in a good way with no crossing of red boundaries, okay, and red flags. Okay, so this is our assumption.
Red lines, no red line crossings. Simple terms, no offensive behavior, no violence, of course, verbal, emotional. So under these assumptions, you're going to say that the third thing.
Yeah, okay. The third one. And actually, this is the assumption of all our podcasts. And that's what we talk about.
We'll probably talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Okay. So this one is about being truthful to my partner. Okay. We have to take account also his, not only his feelings, but his core values, the way he sees things, and take it into account. We cannot, in a relationship, only take into account our core values because it's a relationship. And to be totally honest, we have to take into account the other person. It is just two people here.
I must stop you. That's really mind-boggling, because what I get from you, sorry, it's like just wow. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but what you say is actually, it's like taking into account them is being honest to my choice of being with them. So it's actually, I need to honor my decision.
Oh yeah, that's a good, I couldn't phrase it better. Yes.
Cool. So it's like, people might say, oh, but you might be like pleasing, by like maybe it's compliant, I don't know, whatever, compliance. It's like, no, I'm actually actively honoring my decision.
Yes.
If I want to be with you, I don't want to be with a puppet that looks like you and instill into you all my values. Then I'm not being with you. If I want to be with you, I really need to take into account what's really important to you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes, you put it really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, we have to take into account the other person. That would be truthful and honest. If I'm annoyed at something, okay, like, I don't know, my partner spends a lot of time on something that I don't like, maybe on sports, okay, or he likes to hang a lot with friends, and I prefer that we be together, or that we listen to music or cook something. Because so being truthful is acknowledging that, okay, I chose him, I have a lot of wonderful things with him. Like before, I want to be in a couple. If we want to be in a couple, we have to take in account the other person will be different from us, and we will have to compromise some of our needs. Otherwise, we can be alone, and then it's all our needs and all our wants. So I have to understand, okay, that being truthful, they love sports, they love bowling, I don't know, they love running, and I know that I have to take care of my irritation, but it's not connected to them. I can't, like we said, in awareness of my feelings, just the first part is like, I'm so annoyed that I wanted him to be with me, but he's somewhere else now. And then I can put it on him and tell him how annoyed I am. And no, that would not be honest, because I chose to be with you. So in this stage, I honor that, and I'm honest with myself that it's okay. I have to deal with my emotional turmoil in another way. It's not connected to him, it's connected to me. Yes, this is about the idea. It connects to many things. It's views of the world. Okay, something is important to him, to the individual, that I don't like, but that is honoring the other person and who I am, and being truthful to the choice and the other person. Yeah, that.
Wow. Yeah, I can probably talk for an hour on just on this and the relationship to the previous letter, because it's really about, if I go back to the second phase, it's like, which values of mine are being honored when I stay true to who you are, and which aren't, and then who's responsible to fulfill my other values or things that are important to me. Am I dumping it all on you? Are you the person responsible? Like, for me, a big deal of me is that we spend time together in the evening. Like the end of the day, that's us. No kids, nothing. It's just us. And sometimes you are available, other times you are not, and we need to find a balance. But when you're not, there is a value that is not being fulfilled right now for me.
Yes.
And I can kind of like take it out on you, but for you in the evening, sometimes all you need to do is just fall on the bed and go to sleep. That's it. That's, you reached your capacity. And I really need to honor that while I'm hurting or suffering. And then I need to go. It's like, in all honesty, if you cannot be with me, I don't want you to be there. It's like,
yes, that's being honest to yourself also.
So in a way, what you're saying, and it's kind of, I think for us, so not all values are born equal.
Created equal, yes, because there's values and there's needs and there's abilities. Actually,
Yes,
I would say that
but
we have to be truthful to that, to the ability of the other person, the circumstances.
With your permission, just
yes.
What I get is, and I think it's for us very, how you say that, we take it for granted maybe, but it truth is, I don't know if the highest, but it's way higher than many
you
other
don't
values.
Believe it, it's my kid.
Okay, cool.
This is be an example. Just a moment.
You can mute yourself.
אתה הולך לאבא? טוב, אם אין שם, אני מקווה שיש שם מישהו, יש לך מפתח? יש לך מפתח? טוב, תתקשר אליי משם אם אתה לא מסתדר, פשוט תבוא הביתה אם זה לא מסתדר שם. אוקיי, ותעדכן אותי. ביי מתוק, ביי ביי. I forgot to tell you that he may call me. I thought he would be begging me to come pick him up, and then what would we do? At the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, it's the first trial round, but that's cool. So what you are saying is that, like, in my mind, the resolution to that is like, I need to find a resolution for myself right now if I'm not, a need is not being answered. And my resolution is like, truth is way higher or much higher or even just higher than other values for me. So I want you to be with me, but only if it's true for you to be with me. And if not, then I'd rather spend the evening alone or whatever. But so I place one value over the other, and that helps me resolve. And yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, because this requires inner clarity. It's a self-knowledge. You have to work on it to understand yourself and your priorities and your needs and your values, and then the needs and abilities and values of the other person. It does, in order to make this happen, we need to put our mind to it, kind of feel it and our attention on it. And it can take months and years to develop. Also, it's changing. It's not something that we do just one time. But the intention of honesty and truth is very important also, that we know each other intention. And this actually is leading up to the fourth level, which is also very important and sometimes hard. It's a little easier than the third one, which I think is most hard for us, for people, because we maybe imagine a partner that is completely identical to ourselves in his abilities, in their abilities, their values, their wants, their needs. And that would be wonderfully amazing. Of course, maybe the AI can be our partner now. Like making someone completely identical to us. How lovely would that be? Like we can eat the cake and leave it whole, that we are not alone, but with someone who doesn't exactly identical to us, doesn't
a big mini-me.
What? Yeah.
Like a big mini-me. No, but it's like a grown-up mini-me.
A grown-up, yeah, because a lot of us today have lived alone.
Just a second. For my mind is like, you said, are we already in the fourth one, or are we?
No, the fourth one.
So I do have, okay, yes.
Is being true to the relationship. That's how I call it. What I mean is that we be true to all our previous talks, our previous understandings, and we remember it, because so many couples talk and then each one, or maybe one of them, just doesn't, there's no integrity to what we already talked about. And then it's kind of like Sisyphus. I don't know how to say that. Like
Sisyphus.
it's like we already talked about it. We agreed upon it. We understood each other. So why are you saying this, or why are you angry? Like we never talked before. So I think a large part of honesty is to be true to the relationship and what we have already created between us. Like we need to create something between us. We need to create harmony between us, understandings that create harmony. We need to talk and agree on something and understand it together, the complexity of it. But after we reach this agreement, that's the first step. To be honest, I need to go back to our agreement, what we already talked about, maybe a lot of times, and remember it in the online when it's true. Like when I'm annoyed, I need to, but we talked about it, and he had already explained it, and I had already agreed. So why am I complaining again on that very same thing? It's like really going nowhere.
Yes.
What?
This really brings up two things in my mind. First is it requires to develop some kind of communication where if I'm in this, I'm really, agitated right now and I forgot something, how can I either recognize it, or you can tell me, hey, but we agreed on it, in a way, like we need to develop an agreement that if you catch something like that, you can tell me that, and that's like it's a stopper.
This is very important. I just want to emphasize this, that what I'm talking about now, at this moment, is between a person himself. It's like the first stage of honesty is inner honesty. We cannot have honesty with the other person if we are not dedicated and committed to our honesty. And this is the stages of honesty that is before communication, because that's what I mean. And I notice so many people talk about honesty just regarding the communication with the other person, like when and how to do it and how to not be offensive to the other person's feelings. And it's really important. We can talk about it sometime. But I don't think it works if we are not first committed to our honesty. And what is real honesty? It's like the first step is always inside of us. It cannot start with the communication, because if I'm not honest, as we said now, maybe I'm communicating at the best time and I'm saying it really nicely and considering your feelings, but I'm saying something that is not honest. So annoying and not helpful. And it's just even worse. At least it would have been better if I had stated the first and just been angry. But now I'm just like, what?
Yeah, I got you. It's the notion. Brené Brown speaks about it. I just heard an episode of her old podcast when she speaks to this doctor who comes also from, he's a psychologist, clinical, and it also comes from many years of Buddhism, and the notion of the near enemy. So it looks,
the what again? What?
The notion of the near enemy.
Okay.
Like it looks like I'm doing the right thing, but the roots are not. Like the roots are rotten. And
yes, wow, amazing. Yes.
So it's the right time. I speak politely. But I'm actually not being honest. So I got you. So this brings the next thing that I wanted to say about it, is that like it's really always, or about, not always, but about periodically checking with myself. I call it, it's my words. Okay, it's like, am I relationship worthy? Am I in a place where I keep repeating about something that we already agreed? Maybe I need to seek help with something outside the relationship and kind of like come back worthy. And I know it's hard these are hard words, but in a way, it's not okay for me to dump all my issues and problems and whatever childhood wounds into a relationship unless we have an agreement that this is a therapeutic relationship and you want to be my therapist and I want to be yours. But unless this is the agreement, and we even have the capabilities and whatever, but in a usual or normal or way, there are things that I need to do with myself to come back to the relationship or to be in the relationship that you don't need to. I think it's very clear for people, like if I said, let's say that one of us had some real anger and violence issues, everybody would say, yeah, go to anger therapy, go to violence therapy. But it doesn't have to be that strong. Like if we agree on something and I find myself 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 10 times not being able to honor it, maybe I need to seek help outside,
Well,
so I can start honoring this.
It's interesting because first it depends on the issue, because it's not the actual subject, the subject of our episode today, but there are also different principles, elements that are good for a relationship. Like it's not black and white. We're not perfect. Like I know you're very into details and perfection, and I'm like more round. And I'm like, okay, we agree between us that on a lot of things, it will return for 30 years. Okay?
Yeah, I understand
the intention, and not, you didn't mean that?
No, first of all, it's good that you bring that, because I realized that my the way I worded it, and probably it means the way I think about it, is very black and white. And
yes,
so it's good that you are softening my message. It's just that when you say being true to the relationship, if I find, I'll put it mildly or more balanced way. If I find myself that there is a subject where I repeatedly cannot be true to the relationship, it's okay to go, and it's actually not just okay, I think it's needed to go and seek help on that. And
well, I think maybe what you're telling me is that what I tried to explain is not what you mean.
You said, I'll tell you what I found. You said if we already had talks and agreements on something, we don't need to.
Yeah, it's not that we're going. I didn't say that in my behavior I will always be 100% what we agreed. This is maybe not even 80%.
No,
what
I'm
saying, I'm just 100%. Saying that, no, not in my behavior. What I'm saying is that when something angers me, when I'm annoyed and I need to be honest, then I need to go back in my mind, like in my inner world, and remember, wait, he's right. I am annoyed about something that I actually agreed that would be okay, that I wouldn't do. I'm not saying that we would be, I'm not talking about the actual behavior. That's another subject, what to do with the actual behavior. I'm like, whoa, I'm so annoyed. And I want to go and tell you why. And then, but I go through the stages, and then I remember that you already told me that that's what you're going to do. But or that I said that I won't do it, and I'm in the wrong here. Oh my God. I have to, like, it happened just the other day when with my sister and we were my sister that came over, and we changed the seats so they would, and then
okay.
And I was so annoyed that you told me that, and it was not the right time to tell me, maybe, but there was never a good time. I had to be honest with myself that to tell me things, there's not much good times to tell me something. Anyway, it took me
let's give
a long time.
If we leave it in the podcast, we need to give the story. They came over, your sister and her husband and the kids, to get a little bit distance from the war. They came over to our house, and they slept. They had a good afternoon sleep after many days of not being able to sleep, and you changed the sheets of the bed for them. They slept in our bed, and with a small one.
Yes.
And you changed the sheets for them, and then you didn't ask me even if I want to change the sheets after they were. and there was a big thing about it. And in the evening, because I felt you already were in bed, I couldn't change the sheets because you were sleeping. You were having one of those nights that you were wasted, and I felt trapped. And when I talked to you about it, then you said that for you, you were angry at me in a way, but then you understood that there is no. Now tell what your experience was.
Okay. So there was being aware, like being true to myself and what's important to me, but also being aware at the same time of what's important to you and what we had agreed on as in a relationship. Now, I had to admit that although there is what we agreed about me and what's important to me, I will not talk about it now, but I already know, I know you, and I know how being attentive to the other person's needs and what is the word for it? Being caring.
I want to be seen. For me, it's very important.
You want to be seen. I know that. Okay.
Okay.
I have to be true to the fact that I know that. And I have to be true to the fact that we had agreed many times that our relationship is important, that you be seen and I be seen, and that we're both caring and bringing the extra effort to seeing the other person and being.
I got you now.
And then it was so painful for me inside. I could really feel it, like, no, I'm wrong. It wasn't okay. And I didn't even want to say I'm sorry when it's happened, because I was just seeing only my core values, that I don't want so much stress and things. Don't talk about, there's things, but I had to admit, I had to be honest and truthful to myself, that although I was feeling that I wanted to blame you, and actually being true to myself and you, in many situations, I can blame you, and at first you can even agree because you're susceptible to that. You're at fault. Why did you do this and this? But that would not be true.
My German
that would
upbringing.
Not be honest. What?
My German upbringing.
Yes, but if I want to be truthfully honest to myself, and it hurts, really, really hurts, that I have to admit that I'm not being true, even though I'm feeling very annoyed or angry or something.
To the relationship.
Yeah, and to you, and I know you, and I know this is important to you, and I choose to be with you. So you're not just this laid-back guy who doesn't care about the sheets and who won't even notice. You notice things. I know that. I know you notice things. So, and I enjoy the good part of it. Anyway, that's what I mean. And it really hurts, but it's between me and me. It's not about being perfect in the behavior. There's no problem, actually, real problem, that I forgot to change the seats, because I actually truly forgot. I wanted to talk to you about it. But even if I would have been mistaken, it's like the initial mistake many times, like, okay, I'll just try to say that we're allowed to make mistakes. There's so much happening. It's not about the actual behavior. We're not going to get it perfect for the behavior, because we're two individuals, and it's not going to be like just all the time okay. But being honest means like not a mistake on a mistake. Okay, like even though sometimes we will mistake in that too, but I'm talking about the secondary mistake. Like if I would have
I have to be honest
angry
right
at
now.
you, that would have been...
to be honest right now. Sorry. This is fascinating. Probably very valuable, and probably will not even get to my next question. But I can't in my time of the day.
we need to finish.
I need to wrap this up, and I want to ask that we continue from that point.
Okay.
Because if I'm being honest to me and to you, I can't even listen anymore.
Okay.
I'm preoccupied.
It's much longer than we planned.
It's much richer and interesting and fascinating.
Okay.
Good one. We'll make it in parts probably.
Okay,
for everybody who's listening, this is the very first. It's not even the first episode. It's the pilot that we just wanted to check if the camera is okay. and that the microphone is okay, and that the format is reasonable. But I think there's a lot of value in this conversation.
It's very exciting for us.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Likewise.
Enjoyed talking to you.
Well, that's good. Maybe so I can come home tonight.
Yes.
Likewise. Really
Okay.
fascinating. You always, should I say that? You blow my mind.
Thank you. Always
You blow
good to
my
say
mind.
that.
That's what really, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So great.
Love you.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, honey.